Sapna?
Well, most of it, of course, has been flagged off by the finance minister herself in the Saturday meeting. But yes, some of the details that we can talk about, they are 2 to 3-fold in the sense, one on deposits, the second on in terms of, the lending advice so that ALMs are avoided, the requirement for a playbook to, manage crisis situations, and last but not the least, in terms of effective transmission of interest rates whenever a rate hike or a rate cut happens. Starting off first on the deposit front, well, the government has very clearly told the banks that they need to be more granular in their approach in terms of garnering deposits. Maybe corporate deposits and bulk deposits are not the best route. The choice of deposits should be more granular. Maybe retail deposits should also be focused on. That's one. Second, also in terms of the exposure to government securities, the RBI advised SLR benchmark needs to be followed, whether it's MTM or HTM, that needs to be kept in mind. Third, in terms of the requirement of a playbook to handle crisis situations, and this is something that the finance minister herself has flagged off. There's a requirement for that. One needs to be created by the public sector banks. Also, in terms of their asset liability, to take care of or to avoid any kind of a mismatch, in terms of the pledged shares, banks have been advised to include that whenever they calculate their total corporate exposure. And these pledged shares should be monitored and provided for. That's a very clear advice coming from the government. Last but not the least, also in terms of the effective transmission of interest rates, the externally benchmarked lending rate should be followed for that, so that the transmission rates is more effective. Last but not the least, discretionary pricing should be avoided, and rating-based pricing models should be adopted. All of this to take care that the banks are healthy. One last point I would like to flag off. Well, this is a view within the banking sector that all this messaging from the government has gone to the public sector banks. 40% of the business is controlled by the private sector banks. What about messaging to them?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's get to our Midcap radar special. Midcap